For the last 10 years, we've been getting together, a few of us at Learning Strategies, on Wednesday afternoons for poetry. And often we'll read poems, maybe we'll read a variety of poems from a different poets, or something that inspires us, or what have you. Now, because it's our 40th anniversary this month, and we've been asking our mentors and our authors to read poetry that we can share with you, we decided we were going to read poems for you. And I'm going to start off by reading my most favorite poem of my entire life. And one of the things that you'll learn when we read the poem is that we're not really poem readers. And so if we stumble and stammer, just accept that. So that way, when you're reading a poem, it's okay to I can't even speak regularly, stumble and stammer. How's that sound? So I'll start with mine. Mine is actually 5 stanzas long. It's the first stanza is the one that I absolutely love the most, and it's the one that I have sat and meditated on for a long time. The rest of them is almost the rest of the poem. I've taken out a bunch of the stanzas within the poem that really I think we can all identify with. William Blake. Oh, by the way, I'm going to start, and then we'll go to the others. William Blake. To see a world in a grain of sand, and heaven in a wildflower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. A robin redbreast in a cage puts all heaven in a rage. A dove house filled with doves and pigeons shudders hell through all its regions. A dog starved at his master's gate predicts the ruin of the state. A horse misused upon the road calls to heaven for human blood. Each outcry of the hunted hare, a fiber from the brain does tear. He who shall train the horse to war shall never pass the polar bar. The beggar's dog, the widow's cat, feed them and thou will grow fat. The gnat that sings a summer song, poison gets from slander's tongue. The poison of the snake and newt is the sweat of envy's foot. A truth that's told with bad intent beats all the lies you can invent. It is right, it should be so. Man was made for joy and woe. And when this we rightly know, through the world we safely go. Every night and every morn, some to misery are born. Every morn and every night, some are born to sweet delight. Some are born to sweet delight. Some are born to endless night. So that's mine. And the first one is to see a world in a grain of sand and heaven in a wildflower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. The very first time that I ever saw this was chiseled into the wall at St. Paul's Cathedral in England. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, this is the most beautiful thing that I've read. And I've read it a billion times since. So I share that with you. Does anybody have any comments, or who wants to go next?
Well, my first comment was, I thought for a second there, we were back to the Tao Te Ching that we did a little stop at earlier in the year, where we did all the Tao Te Ching things instead of quote, quote poems. And it's like, oh, this is, but it kind of pulled itself out of that. I thought that was beautiful. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. And doing the Tao Te Ching was really neat. We did all 81 chapters, a different chapter a week, 81 weeks, with a couple breaks here and there. And it was quite the interesting experience. Chinese said that his master told him he needed to read the Tao Te Ching 10,000 times. Well, we did it once.
Yeah, but 4 different books.
Yeah, work cut out for us.
Yeah, when was your poem written? When was it
that?
written? Do you know when it was written?
This? I do not. I do not. Who'd like to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay, Nancy.
This poem has been taped to my wall maybe 15 years. So I think since before we started poetry class, but I've always loved poetry. The name of the poem is Love After Love by Derek Walcott. The time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself arriving at your own door, in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, "Sit here, eat." You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit, feast on your life.
Oh, I want to put that up on my wall. That was great.
I love that poem. I think learning strategies made this difference for me, or maybe it's what made me notice this poem is, you know, that old book Passages of at different ages and eras in your life, you go through things. And I think when I first found this poem, I wasn't quite there yet, but I was where I knew it was coming and that it would happen and that I could make it happen. And certainly the tools at Learning Strategies make a big difference in loving oneself and understanding that my whole life I've been here while I was looking for something else. And it was right here all along, or at least along with everything else.
Wonderful, thank you. Who wants to go next?
I will. I think I don't really have a favorite poem. I just love the power of words, and I love what a few simple words can emote in you, like, you know, to hold the world in a grain of sand. You know, how awesome is that? You know, that's childhood, you know, the world's right there. So I love the distillation of it. And the one that I was going to choose is, it's called A Morning Offering, but for me, it's sort of a way to live your life. It's John O'Donohue, the Irish poet. So I like just about everything he did. May I have the courage today to live the life that I would love, to postpone my dream no longer, but do at last what I came here for, and waste my heart on fear no more.
Lovely.
Beautiful. Thank
If
you.
we can all do that, we'll be in good shape.
Yeah, Wendy, would you read that again?
Sure. May I have the courage today to live the life that I would love, to postpone my dream no longer, but do at last what I came here for, and waste my heart on fear no more.
Nice.
Very nice. Thank you.
And that's what we do here. We help people go there.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, you betcha.
Yes, you do.
Okay, who wants to go next?
I can.
Bert? Janie, okay.
As you all said, it was hard to just choose one poem because there's so many. I think you all know I love Rumi, and this is, he was, of course, that mystic and scholar and poet from the 13th century. And I've spent probably more time with this poem this year and, well, the last couple of years as we're preparing the 4 Elements Manifestation course. So it's just a very helpful, lovely poem. It's called The Guest House.
Mm.
This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond.
That's
I
my
remember
favorite.
when you first read that well, the last time you read it, it was like, I went and posted that on Facebook the next, that night, because it was like, God, that's so good. And so it works in so many different ways. So
Janie, is that part of Four Elements Manifestation, the new course?
Brian recites it actually in the course,
Yeah.
in one of the sessions. Remember on the magic mirror session?
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
Black
yes,
mirrors.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Good, good, good.
Thank
Where
you.
did you
Okay.
find it, Janie?
In one of the many Rumi books.
Yeah.
It's one that sat, like, I think from my college days, I'm sure, I think, when I
Wow.
first came upon it. But don't ask me how long ago that was.
Just yesterday.
Bert, are you ready?
Sure.
And can you speak up? You're kind of soft.
How is this?
Good.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you have to
Yes.
talk in order for us to hear you.
Really?
It's amazing how it works.
Yes. Being part of this poetry group, you also have to put up with the cynicism.
When we used to meet in the office, we would always have a bottle of wine. But now that we're at our homes, we miss
We drink water.
Give up, Janie.
Cheers.
that's right. We'd have wine, we'd have popcorn, and Nancy would always bring the little treats like wasabi, crusted peanuts or something. So,
Yep.
oh, the good old times.
Anyway, this is a poem that my mother loved. So I love it. And it's by J.R.R. Tolkien.
Hmm.
I sit beside the fire and think of all that I have seen, of meadow flowers and butterflies and summers that have been, of yellow leaves and gossamer and autumns that there were, with morning mist and silver sun and wind upon my hair. I sit beside the fire and think of how the world will be when winter comes without a spring that I shall ever see. For still there are so many things that I have never seen. In every wood, in every spring, there is a different green. I sit beside the fire and think of people long ago and people who will see a world that I shall never know. But all the while I sit and think of times that were before. I listen for returning feet and voices at the door.
Nice.
And for those of you who are Hobbit fans, that was part of the Lord of the Rings series. It was in one of the books.
Good.
Cool.
Thank you. Shawn, what did you bring?
I never bring poems to poetry class. I'm more of a, Hallmark guy, but I found this one, and if I can read it without crying, it would be good because it's so good. And I apologize right now for butchering the author's name, but it's called Silver by Jeanette Encenias. And it goes something like this. How many years of beauty do I have left? She asked me. How many more do you want? Here's 34. Here's 50. When you're 80 years old and your beauty rises in ways your cells cannot even imagine now, and your wild bones grow luminous and ripe, having carried the weight of a passionate life. When your hair is aflame with winter and you have decades of learning and leaving and loving sewn into the corners of your eyes, and your children come home to find their own history in your face. When you know what it feels like to fall or to fail ferociously and have gained the capacity to rise and rise and rise again. When you can make your tea on a quiet and ridiculously lonely afternoon and still have a song in your heart. The queen owl wings beating beneath the cotton of your sweater because your beauty began there, beneath the sweater and the skin. Remember? This is when I will take you into my arms and coo, you brave and glorious thing. You've come so far. I see you. Your beauty is breathtaking.
Nice.
Wonderful. You should bring poems more often.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. The last few lines started to well me.
Oh,
Does anybody
nice.
have another one that they'd like to share?
I'll just do a postscript on mine.
Yeah.
Yes,
Say that
please.
when my mother, and it reminded me when Shawn was reading his poem about aging. My mother, after her 4 kids had left home, I think she liked this poem because it said, "I listen for returning feet and voices at the door." And she said, that's what she does. So
Yeah. Well, I do have another poem.
Oh, good.
Yeah. It's actually one that I've read or recited hundreds and hundreds of times. It's one that I actually wrote in 9th grade, Miss Polar's English class. And I'll read it and I'll tell you why I read it. Out of the tawny and cloudy sky came to be but a shiny bright eye, which was indeed the sun.
nice.
Yeah, I bet you Miss Kohler really liked that one.
Yeah. Well, see, what I liked about it, what it is, it's that every single time when things would get tough, that is what I would read. You know, that got me through high school, it got me through college, my 20s. And now I just go to it because it just brings back all the memories of how it was just there. That no matter what was going on, there's the eye, there's the sun. And so it's been good.
Very nice. Thank you, Pete.
So with that, you got a little taste of our poetry group. We meet for an hour. And
Not a little taste. I mean, there was no wine served tonight, so.
yeah.
But we did feast on our lives. There was a theme
Yeah.
between all of us. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, no one told a poem about a goat or, you know, wheat fields or so many things we've covered.
Yeah. So thank you all for coming in and kind of peeking into our lives here. We're happy to be able to share these poems with you. And maybe you can send us a poem. Maybe we'll read them some Wednesday afternoon when we get together. We got an hour. So send us a poem.
That'd be great.
Thank you.
All right. Sorry,
Bye-bye.
Pete. Can I do it?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Wendy gets to give us all a hug. Hold on a second.
Okay.
No, Wendy, just wait a second. Let me change it to gallery view so they get just you.
Oh no, I don't want that.
There you go.
All right. Huge, 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 huge virtual hug from all of us here and lots of love from all of us to you. I'm
Perfect.
craving that contact.
Bye.
Thank you.